The polar vortex is here, you guys. How are you this grand rising? I am TB Waheed, and I am reading Race and Descent as Social Categories in India. I hope all is well with each and every one of you. I don't know where you are in this world today, but it is cold where I am. So, in this section is talking about the range of ethnic diversity in India. So, the range of ethnic diversity in India, although it has few parallels elsewhere, palpable physical differences have, by themselves, contributed very little to the country's recent social tensions. The most significant membership groups in the society are, however, clearly ones with which the individual identifies himself by reason of birth and through sentiments of common blood and common ancestry. Such sentiments are likely to have special appeal in a society that was until recently relatively closed and where membership in the most significant groups could be acquired only by birth. Many outside observers have echoed the view Max Weber set forward in the opening sentence of his book on Indian religion. India is a land of the most inviolable organization by birth. Since the time of Manu, Hindu lawgivers have attributed particular qualities to particular lines of descent. Strict laws, rules of law, and customs circumscribed intermixture of lines. To preserve the social and cultural identity of each caste, marriages not only between different castes, but often those between subdivisions of the same subcaste were forbidden. This rule nourished the idea that members of the same caste or subcaste were of common blood. Indeed, Irawati Karve has tried to show that the minimal unit of endogamy within the caste system consists of a group of persons related by real ties of kinship and affinity. The sentiment of common descent is not confined to the subcaste viewed as the minimal unit of endogamy. It is often shared by a group of related castes among which no intermarriage is practiced. Thus, although the Tamil Brahmins are divided into numerous sections, there is a keen belief among them that all Brahmins belong to a single stock. This is based on the common supposition that the subdivisions of the day are the outcome of fissions within an original, undifferentiated group. A supposition that may have some historical validity, at least within a single cultural region, depending upon context and situation. The sentiment of common descent can clearly be associated with either a broader or a narrower group. The organization of society on the basis of birth status groups and the general acceptance of a rank order ascribed by birth gave a distinctive character not only to the absorption of alien ethnic elements into Hindu society, but also to the place they acquired in it. In the main, Hindu society seems to have grown by adding new blocks to itself, while allowing these blocks to retain a measure of autonomy and identity. Traditionally, the unit of absorption has been a community rather than an individual. This process often enabled an alien community to retain its religious or sectarian identity while imbibing a variety of Indian cultural forms. No alien community could, in fact, function as a part of Indian society without acquiring some of the structural properties of caste. Many people have noticed the caste-like organization among both Muslims and Christians in India. Also, reform movements that have sought to break through the closed system of caste have themselves generally ended as caste. The Lingayats of South India provide the best known, though by no means the only example of this. The discreteness of the blocks out of which traditional Indian society was built was maintained by a combination of ecological, genetic, linguistic, and other cultural factors. The localization of a community in a particular habitat came about because of the absence of easy means of transport and communication. The concentration of large tribal blocks in certain parts of the country provides a good example of this tendency. Genetic identity was maintained at least in part by the rule of endogamy. The preservation of cultural identity was made possible by the pluralistic values of Hindu society. In the past, and to a great extent in the present, the Indian's identity has been fixed in a fairly definite manner by a variety of bounded units, each characterized by not one but a member of different attributes. N.K. Bose writes, "The map of Calcutta shows a highly differentiated texture. Ethnic groups tend to cluster together in their own quarters. They are distinguished from one another not only by language and culture, but also by broad differences in the way they make their living. Naturally, there is a considerable amount of overlap, but this does not obscure the fact that each ethnic group tends to pursue a particular range of occupations. It can be said, therefore, that the diverse ethnic groups and the population of the city have come to bear the same relation to one another as do the caste in India as a whole. Because of this kind of clustering, social identities have been preserved to a much greater extent in India than in the more rapidly changing societies." And I'm going to stop right there. This is the introduction to Race and Descent as Social Categories in India by Andre Patel. And it will continue with talking about the traditional system where there was a close association between caste and then on the economic and political power on the other. So, I hope that you will be able to take notes and get ready to explore this information with me. I want to wish you peace, love, and light, and stay warm wherever you are. If you are in the Midwest, if not, and you're in a warmer place, try to stay cool. Whatever climate that you're in, you got to be comfortable. But in the meantime, peace, love, and light. Hotel.